Hello and welcome. Welcome to another Lunch with Lisa. I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing, and I'm the co-creator of Whole Being Healing, along with Mara Leon S. It's a course designed to help you heal your whole being. We cannot look at our bodies as separate from us. We cannot simply try to shift our bodies without looking at the rest of ourselves that is out of alignment. So today I was reminded of a saying. And the saying is, ignorance is bliss. And, whenever I heard that saying, what came to mind was like, oh, somebody just going along in life, being super blissful and just completely being oblivious of everything else around them, but they're perfectly happy and beautiful. Well, there's a real misrepresentation in that visual model that I had, and I realized that there's really a lot to this saying. So I thought I would kind of have a conversation with you about it today because, ignorance, what is ignorance? Nobody wants to be ignorant, right? It has a really bad connotation of, people being stupid or, and that's really not what it is. It's ignorance is ignorance, ignore ance, the act of ignoring something. Ignorance is the act of being unaware. So we can think of ignorance as, just like simply not knowing, there can be all kinds of topics that we have, pickleball. I'm totally ignorant when it comes to pickleball. I have no idea how you play pickleball. I've heard the word. I know people play it. I've never done it, so I'm totally ignorant in that area, right? It's like there's no shame in being ignorant, right? If I ever choose to learn it, I will go learn it. But until then, I'll just be ignorant of what it is. And but ignorance, when it comes to our health, when it comes to the quality of our lives, there's a lot of money being made on our ignorance. And our ignorance causes suffering. When we don't know how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our own bodies, how to properly feed and clothe and nourish and care for our own bodies, that turns into our physical suffering. It turns into dis-ease in our bodies. But none of us like to think that we're ignorant. So we simply assume, ASSUME, right? Assume, ass you me. It is a very it's kind of a dangerous place to live in assumption. To assume something is also to take on the form of, to assume that we know what's best for our bodies, to assume that we know what's safe to eat in the grocery store. We simply assume that if they're selling it on the shelves in the grocery store, then it's perfectly safe to eat. This is not true in any way, shape, or form. Okay, a little bit of poison over a long period of time is still poisoning. All kinds of chemicals are in our foods. All kinds of medication is made from chemicals. It's made in laboratories. Much of the food is now made in laboratories. Much of the food that is consumed, especially here in America, is fast food or junk food. They call it junk food for a reason. Junk is stuff that people don't need. They don't want it. A junkyard is where people throw their old, worn out stuff. It is that no longer works. Right? When we're filling our bodies with junk, when we're filling our minds with junk thoughts, junk is everywhere on this planet. There is garbage everywhere on this planet, not just floating on 10-mile islands in the Pacific Ocean, not just in landfills. It's on the news, it's in the media, it's on the radio, it's on TV. It's thought patterns that are taught to us in schools that have absolutely no relevance to our lives whatsoever. But we just assume that if it's being taught in our schools, if it's being prescribed by the medical system, if it's being taught in the churches, we assume the best. Right? We don't want to assume the worst when it comes to our educational system or the medical system or the religious systems. Like, no, we just assume the best. Yet, this is a very ignorant position. We're ignoring some very obvious facts. We're ignoring some basic life necessities. We're ignoring the distortions in these systems. Parents send their children off to school and just like, oh, like let the teachers teach them. But they're ignoring what's in the content of the material that's being taught. They're overlooking some quite glaring discrepancies from reality that are being taught. Some very unsavory things are being taught to children, young children in schools these days. There are unsavory things happening all over the planet, and we just turn our back to it. We just ignore the darkness. But we're ignoring the darkness at the expense of our lives, at the expense of our health, at the expense of our wealth, at the expense of our happiness. Ignorance is bliss. But whose bliss? We can only live in blissful ignorance for a short period of time because the universe itself will not support ignorant bliss. It doesn't happen. As souls, we share the mind of God, the universal mind. Divine intelligence is our birthright. It is who and what we are created from. There is no separation. It is only here in physical form on earth that we have individuated minds. The individuated mind has been separated or isolated from the mind of God. The mind of God is our normal, natural state of being. When we're not in blissful ignorance, we are in divine oneness. It is our ignorance, our blissful ignorance, that is causing our suffering. Because guess what? In our blissful ignorance, it's not our bliss. Somebody else's bliss is our ignorance. Our ignorance is somebody else's bliss. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that if we let's just take like a major fast food chain. Pick your favorite fast food chain, any of them. Okay. The major fast food chains are the food, what they call food, is just filled with garbage. It's filled with junk. It is literally junk food. There is virtually no nutritional value in any of those foods. Most of the foods are dead, they're non-living, even if they're, tomatoes or lettuce or something that, used to be alive, that is being used, and they've been bleached, they've been filled with chemicals, they've been treated with things. Like, if we don't understand that there is literally poison in these things, just a little bit, it's okay, it's just a little bit of poison. Why would we put poisons in our body knowingly? Like, it makes no logical sense. But we simply ignore logic in deference to, oh, it's just fast, it's easy, I don't have to cook. There it is, I can just have it right at my fingertips. So the owner of your favorite fast food chain is in bliss because they're making billions of dollars on our ignorance. They don't care about who they poison or how they poison. A poison manufacturer, and I'm not talking about, the necessarily the fast food chains here, but it can apply. But a poison manufacturer, somebody that makes poison, like rat poison, for example, any poison manufacturer only is interested in selling poison. They really don't care who or what gets poisoned. They'll say, we make rat poison so that you can poison the rats and you can get the rats out of your house and poison them. Okay, great. So now you put the rat poison out. What happens if your baby finds it and ingests it? What happens if your cat eats the rat and dies? What happens if hawks or eagles find the rat and eat it and die? Right? Who else is dying from that poison? The manufacturers don't care. Not that they're uncaring people, but they're just focused on making a profit. That's why they manufacture the poisons. The junk food manufacturers don't care how many people they poison. They only care about making a profit. They're not bad people. This is not a knock on the people themselves. It's just they have been trained to focus on profit over people. And when we focus on the sales pitch of, oh, this is going to make your life so much easier, so much better, we then start operating in ignorance. And we start ignoring some blatant facts that are really quite obvious when we simply take a step back and look and just ask some basic questions of ourselves. If we're buying a poison, spraying, poisoning the dandelions, well, who and what else are we poisoning when we're spraying the dandelions? And why would you spray for dandelions when dandelions are so valuable as a nutritional food, as a homeopathic remedy? Dandelions are of great value, but we have been taught to not value them, to overlook be ignorant of their value, ignore their value, and listen to the sales pitch. Now, some people are greatly benefiting from us poisoning the dandelions, But now we're killing the bees, we're killing the butterflies, the birds that eat the bees and the butterflies are now being poisoned. The entire ecosystem of the planet is being poisoned. Our home is being poisoned. Our foods are being poisoned. Our bodies are being poisoned, whether it's by ingesting the poison directly, whether it's by inhaling the poisons, which then the liver has to process and do something with those poisons that we inhale. They're wearing poisons on our skin, and they're fabrics that are endocrine disruptors. They literally disrupt the functioning of our bodies. Polyester, for one, right? Plastic, any clothing that is made from plastic. But oh, this is just, oh, that's so soft. It's really lovely. But what else is it doing to your body? We can no longer afford to be ignorant. Ignorance is not our bliss. Our ignorance is somebody else's bliss. And the people who are in bliss over our ignorance are not going to change their ways. It's not their job to change our ways. It's not their job to wake us up. It's our job. It's my job to wake myself up. It's my job to stop ignoring some blatantly obvious discrepancies in the marketing materials that are trying to get me to buy into whatever it is that is making someone else a profit, making someone else wealthy and supposedly blissful, right? But at my expense. My health is up to me. Your health is up to you. And your health is directly determined by your level of consciousness. Consciousness and ignorance are two opposites. We cannot be conscious of something while we're busy ignoring something. Consciousness versus ignorance. We cannot continue to be in ignorance. The universe will no longer support our ignorance. When it comes to our health, once our bodies have started to deteriorate and they start to show signs of dis-ease because we have been ignoring the signals that our bodies have been sending, which had we simply listened to our bodies to begin with, we wouldn't be in the situation we find ourselves in, right? Our bodies are our best friend. They're our greatest ally. They're always trying to help us see where we are being ignorant, where we are overlooking something obvious. The body speaks to us in physical sensations, whether that physical sensation feels like fear or doubt or guilt or anxiety, or whether it feels like an ache or a pain. Our bodies are constantly speaking to us. But when we ignore those messages from our bodies, we live in ignorance. Ignorance. We're ignoring the very thing that is here to help us remain healthy and happy and thriving. But the entire society we live in is built upon our ignorance. It is relying on our ignorance, and it is instilling ignorance. It is encouraging our ignorance. It is encouraging us to ignore some very obvious discrepancies, right? War is the pathway to peace. Hello? How do you get peace from war? It has never, ever happened. It never will happen. Peace and war are completely opposite things. We cannot continue to live in blissful ignorance and keep going to war to fight for our rights and fight the enemy and expect peace to come out in the end. Rest in peace comes out in the end, right? Death, the end of our physical body's life, rests at the end of that. That's the peace at the end, right? We cannot continue to live in blissful ignorance because our ignorance is someone else's bliss. It's never our own. So in order to be healthy and happy and thriving on this planet, it is up to each and every one of us to wake ourselves up, to start to become conscious, to start to listen to our own bodies. Our body is always trying to bring us back into consciousness. We've simply been taught to ignore our bodies, ignore those symptoms, ignore those signs, ignore those signals that your body is sending you. Ignore the fact that the stuff that is being taught in schools is most of it is blatantly useless, if not blatantly anti-life, anti-living, anti-thriving, anti-sovereign, anti-divine intelligence. Ignore the fact that the religions put a preacher in between us and God. We don't need anybody between us and God. We have a direct connection, each and every one of us. It's up to each and every one of us to end our ignorance, to stop ignoring the things that don't feel right. How many times have you gone to the doctor and they've given you, either they sit there and they make you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait some more? Like, how often does that just like, does it like just not feel right? How many times have you gone and the doctor's simply looking at their thing, doing their thing, and maybe they'll talk to you a little bit, but then go back to do their thing. How does it feel right? Does what they tell you is wrong with you, does it feel good in your body when they tell you what's wrong with you? If it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel right, pay attention. It's not right. We can't continue to be healthy and live in ignorance. So, rant over. I hope this has been helpful. We have to start seeing what we've been turning a blind eye to. We have to stop ignoring the messages that say, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is for your health. This is for your greatest good. This is for your nutrition, right? Natural. It's all great. Okay, we have to stop turning a blind eye. We have to stop ignoring the inner guidance that says, there's something off. We have to start waking ourselves up and being conscious of what we're doing, because we're unconsciously killing ourselves. It's nobody else's. Your health is nobody else's business. Well, it actually is somebody else's business. They're making a great business when you're unhealthy. Your health is yours. It's up to you. It's your responsibility. Responsibility, the ability to respond in full consciousness, not in assumed ignorance. Stop assuming that people have your best interest at heart. People are good people, but they all have their own agendas. You need to make yourself a priority. You have the capacity. You just have to be willing to be conscious. Hope this is helpful. If you need assistance in this area, whole being healing is an incredible course in waking ourselves up to see what actual healing is. We can't heal just our bodies. We have to heal our whole being, including our consciousness. So if you're interested in that, go to wholebeinghealing.life and you'll find out a lot more. Thank you so much. Until next week, have yourselves a great week. Create one for yourself because you're a grand creator being and you can create anything you put your consciousness to. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.